Hi everybody, Sam and Emma here from Podipedia, and today we are with the amazing Lisa, owner of ShoeMed. Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about ShoeMed, please, and your history?
Sure, yes. I came back from living in Australia in 2011. I'd been in Australia for 21 years and I was very fortunate, to give you a background, but when I was in Australia, I got trained in specialist footwear, the art of podorthics. The Australians had embraced the United States method of certification, so people like ourselves were able to become trained in fitting footwear for people with problem feet, problem ankles, reading prescriptions from podiatrists and other allied health professionals, and learning about different health issues that affects the whole body, and in particular the feet and ankles. So when I had decided to come back here, there was absolutely nobody, as far as I could see, that had a destination shoe shop for people with health conditions, and therefore often wasted a lot of money on shoes that don't fit adequately. Hence ShoeMed was born, and it would be 10 years ago in our first shop, which was Stratford-upon-Avon, which opened in August 2011.
Perfect, thank you. Can you just tell us how many stores have you got in the UK at the moment? What's your setup?
Yeah, we have Stratford-upon-Avon, which was the original store, so that's nearly 10 years old. We have Canterbury in Kent, and now Clitheroe in Lancashire, which is a franchise store owned by a local couple. So we have 3 stores, and at the moment that is enough with the way that business has slightly changed direction. So
obviously, we know from our personal experience as podiatrists that you have a lot of happy customers, and we see loads of patients who have told us how amazing you are. What are the sort of most common reasons or sort of conditions that maybe people come to you, and sort of why do they buy shoes from you?
Sure. So typically a customer that comes to us has wasted an awful lot of money on trying to find footwear, whether it's online or in store, that to help them with their foot problems. That can be perhaps foot deformity. So for example, a bunion, which is causing them issues, hammer toes, extra wide feet, edema, swelling, which can be associated with different medical conditions. It just means that frustratingly, they go out and buy a shoe that's branded as extra wide or extra deep, when in fact it's not. And more importantly, is often not properly fitted. So I guess that and pain is a really big driver for bringing people into the shop.
Right, yeah, definitely. And so when someone does come in with one of these symptoms, one of these problems, what are the most sort of what are the sort of features that you're looking for? You know, what are the most important features to consider when somebody is, you know, looking for these types of shoes? You mentioned that people are maybe buying wider fit online or following maybe adverts that they've seen online. So what sort of things should people consider? What should they look for?
Sure. So I think one of the things is, yes, you're probably going to spend a little bit more on purchasing shoes from somebody like ShoeMed, but it doesn't matter what you spend or invest. If the shoe doesn't fit you correctly, you're going to still have frustration and ongoing problems. So it's very important that the footwear is fitted adequately for your particular needs. But typically, if you're looking for what is a more specialist shoe or a medical grade shoe, you're looking for shoes that are actually available in different lasts or different fittings, so they have different soles that are wider, maybe something with a removable insole, so you have orthotics from your podiatrist, they can fit into the footwear adequately. If you have balance issues, shoes which have a wider heel base, so you look at the shoe from behind and you want to see a lovely wide heel that's you know, as wide as the upper of the shoe, so you're not tilting over. And in the forefoot of the shoe, some nice depth. So turn the shoes on the side, and if they sort of do a nosedive at the end over the toe box area, they're going to squash your toes if you've got toes that are sitting up like this. So different features like that, very briefly, will help. Even stretch materials. So some shoes now have a lovely stretch over the front. So again, if you've got bunions or more toes that are sitting up a bit, they give you a little bit more room.
Yeah, I guess with the sort of new material sciences that are coming out now, so there's more and more fabrics available, you know, that are stretchy, that can be sort of water resistant and all the rest of it. So it's really quite exciting, really.
It is, Emma, and also provides some challenges when you're purchasing footwear as a footwear buyer, because we need to differentiate between what is true leather, what is man-made leather, as they put it. And different stretch materials are great, but do they breathe? So for somebody that, for example, has got lots of bandaging on their feet, you don't want anything that holds in too much moisture. So these are all features and things, technologies, yes, to be aware of and to double check when you're purchasing.
But I guess that's where your expertise is so helpful, because you'll think of all these things. Which is, yes, certainly try to. And in the days when you can go to an international shoe fair and you can hop over to Germany, then you can actually go and see the ranges before the season and pick out the best of a bunch. Because don't get me wrong, there's no one brand that's perfect for everybody, which is why we have a number of different brands. So any brand that purports to be everything for any foot condition, probably not, because again, they might have all the features you want, but is it actually wide enough for your particular foot? So
that's probably one of the questions that we get asked very commonly as podiatrists. Tell me what brand to buy. And that's an exact discussion we have to have. Is there isn't just a brand, exactly as you said. There's different styles within those brands, which may be appropriate for you as an individual.
Definitely, and as we know, some brands have an awful lot more marketing budget to throw at their brand, and in fact, their money is invested in their marketing and arguably not in their product itself. So that's a very good point, Sam, that we're brand aware, but we need to know within that brand what are the features and benefits for myself as an individual person. Yes.
If people aren't able at the moment to go and buy a shoe from a store, can you talk us through sort of your top tips and maybe the pitfalls of buying shoes online?
Yes, definitely, because it's been a challenge for us. We have invested in our website to try and help as many people across the UK as we can. And you can start with the basics, of course, of photography from every angle, product descriptions that describe, but we are definitely trying to do more videos, because again, you can look at a shoe, and I've popped a shoe here, and it looks fantastic. And it's a good example of a wider heel, for example, but how does it fit? So we are going to be trying to address that with better product videos, but also we've started doing video calls such as this. So we can use FaceTime, Zoom, Skype, and it's amazing how much you can learn from just talking to somebody face to face, looking at them walking, looking at the current footwear. I had a lady yesterday, I asked her to put her hand inside and pull out the inner sole, because she was allegedly a size 4, but her toes, you could see on the inner sole, were touching right on the end of the shoe. So we're using technology as much as we possibly can, because yes, for a lot of people it is a big pitfall, and they can again spend a lot of money on returns. We're also looking at providing a courier service where we can deliver a box with a few different shoes selection and then arrange to collect them again, because to keep people safe, they don't have to go out, they don't have to queue up at the post office in the wintry weather, and we can arrange to return the shoes to us. So
wow,
always looking for this.
Yeah, very impressive service.
That's really smart. I like that.
Yeah. I've bought glasses online in a similar way before. They send you 3 or 4 frames online, and then you sort of send your prescription back, try your frames. So it's a great business model for you to be adopting there.
Yeah, and also when you're serving in the shop, if somebody comes in and they want a trainer, as shoe fitters, you quite often bring a formal shoe as well, because you're thinking, actually, this person's come a long way, and they must have other occasions when they need other footwear. So quite often they buy a couple of pair, and it's the same thing. You send them a box with what they're looking for, and then perhaps some other suggestions that might be more appropriate at times as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think we've sort of covered a lot of points around your virtual consultations as well. And that was one of my questions was actually going to be, what sort of tests and things do you use? But you've sort of covered that quite widely, and you're clearly having quite a lot of success with those as well. You're getting customers in the right footwear, even during these difficult times, which is really admirable. And I think, as you mentioned on one of our previous chats, that's helping you build the brand quite a lot as well.
Yes, it is. It's really important for us to help as many people as possible, and particularly now because people are allowed to go out for an hour's exercise, and if they have high risk feet, for example, if they have diabetes and they're a bit frightened of doing too much walking in shoes that could potentially be causing harm, then at least we can help them with their health to get decent footwear on their feet so they can stay active and stay mobile and keep the circulation going. So
it's super important though, isn't it, that people are looking after their health, and offering these kind of services online is just amazing. I think, take my hat off to you. It's really clever. It's really good.
Great fun as well. I've met lots of very interesting people. I've got to see inside their houses and have a chat with their husband, get the husband to hold the camera while
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so it is, and do you know what, that is also important. You know, it's important to keep that personal connection. People come to a shop like ours for that personal service. So we have a chat, they're with us half an hour, 45 minutes, and it's a shame that people have to miss out on that. Well, now they don't. We can still try and reach out to them so that they can have that human connection as well at these times when people can be quite lonely, and that's also important.
What with that in mind, what are your future plans for ShoeMed? Is it more storefronts? Is it more online rollout? I mean, your website, if anybody's watching this, go on the ShoeMed website, because it's recently been redone and it is stunning. So go and have a look through there.
Yeah, I would say we have no plans to open further bricks and mortar. I think these times are a little bit too uncertain, and this has highlighted for a lot of people in a very small business the risks associated with that. So at this stage, within the next, I would say 1 to 2 years, no. But we are employing somebody with more skills to help improve that website even more, to improve our reach out all around the UK to different areas for people with foot problems. And we see that at the moment, along with our current shops, that's all that we can really do realistically until we all get the other side of this. We're also going to look at doing some clinics within podiatry venues, so we can bring along a van full of shoes, booking patients to see us and help them locally, so they don't have to travel to one of our shops, because of course they may be a long way away. And it also helps us to meet more people who will then potentially shop on our website. So hopefully it's a win-win for everybody.
And once you've got a customer in a pair of shoes and they love it, and they have got a specialist requirement, then they can just rebuy that shoe on your website once it's been properly fitted. Yeah.
We keep data on customers, so with their permission we hold details of the footwear they purchased, why they purchased it, how did they hear about us, etc. And I've got some people going back now 10 years, which is wonderful, because they can say, that shoe that I bought in 2015. I go, yes, I do. Put it down. My memory is not that fantastic, but it is written down. Yeah, it is good. And my phone rings constantly with customers giving me a call to say, could you look up my records and could you send me something? Yeah.
I think what you've really done is bridge that gap between the footwear market and the clinical market, haven't you? I mean, I think that's perfect way to model it, and yeah, definitely, you've got to say it. You've got a lot of very happy customers, certainly, that we've come across, which is why we wanted to have a chat with you today and just learn more about the business, which is really exciting. So
yeah, that's great. Well, we're about helping people as you are. It's not just about selling a pair of shoes, it's about building a long-term relationship, and the same as the services that as podiatrists you provide, it's about health and maintenance.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anybody watching this who thinks that they need shoes for themselves, have a look at the Podipedia website. There's a page on there on footwear, and you can use the discount code PODI10 when shopping at ShoeMed to get a 10% discount. So that's awesome for helping people out. And I think the key point is, as I said before, go and have a look at the ShoeMed website, because there's tons of amazing information on there, and it's well worth a scroll through.
Yes, and hopefully it'll be getting even better in the coming months.
Thank you so much for your time today, Lisa. I know that you are super busy, and we will let you get back to the shop. But yeah, and I think exciting times ahead for ShoeMed.
Yes, and for Podipedia too. Onwards and upwards. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.